Happy 4th of July! Today, we celebrate our Independence Day. Yes, sir! I'm going to explain to you why I love this day so very much. If you don't know, I love this country. I love this country so much to the fact that I put my life on the line to serve you. Yes, you out there, you Americans who live on this land, who was born on this land. This guy right here, see this little chocolate dude right here? Yeah, this little chocolate guy right here joined the military to protect you. Hey, the reason why I love the 4th of July so much is because this day, for me at least, is always a reminder of why I served in the military, and it's always a reminder of what I serve for. I serve the people of the United States of America, and I serve for the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution of the United States. I love that document. I love those documents. I love those documents. Why? Freedom. Yeah, freedom. Right now, you got so many people who are worried about what the Trump administration is doing, what DeSantis is doing. I'm gonna tell y'all something. Tell you something right now. I don't care what laws they try to pass. It doesn't work. It's not gonna work. It's not gonna work. Why? The Constitution. The Constitution. The Constitution. The Constitution. I love that document. The Constitution. Doesn't matter whether you white, black, Mexican, Haitian, Jamaican, Puerto Rican, Cuban. If you live on this land, you are protected by the Constitution. Constitution. You're protected by that document. You're protected by the Constitution. Right? Let me explain something to you. I know all y'all saying, well, they're passing a law. They got ICE doing this, ICE doing that. That's what ICE is supposed to do. ICE is doing their job. Right? ICE is doing their job. Now, what I try to explain to people all the time, and what I try to express, is that you have to let the Constitution do its job. You don't have to do nothing but allow the Constitution to do its job. ICE is a constitutional department. We have ICE for a reason. That's been there before Donald Trump became president. ICE has been there for a very long time. They have a job to do, right? Now, the point of my video as it concerns right now, what Trump is doing is that I want y'all to pay attention to something. And I'm going to bring y'all attention to one particular thing in the state of Florida that you should, just understand it. Do you remember when Governor DeSantis, I always do the air quotes, but do you remember when Governor DeSantis signed that bill on homelessness? That law came into play October or November of 2024, right? You remember that, right? Where they said that any homeless people camping will be placed in jail, right? What happened to that law? If you come to Broward County right now, you'll see a whole bunch of homeless people sleeping, camping, doing all kind of shit. Nobody going to jail. Do you know why? Let me explain to why. That tricky Constitution, baby. That tricky Constitution. That thing is a trick. And I love it. I love the Constitution. Let me explain to you why. Not only does the federal government have the Constitution, each state has its own Constitution that's connected to the federal Constitution, right? Now, in order for them to make these certain laws, it has to go through what is called the due process. I don't think y'all heard me. I don't think you heard me. Due process. It's the due process. Due process of law. Do you understand what the due process is? So let me help you understand what the due process is. Due process of law is what's built in the Constitution that makes sure a law sticks, right? So that nobody, no governor, commissioner, mayor, or even the president can make a law, and the Congress can't have laws that they just come up with. You understand what I'm saying? The due process makes the process of making a law so lengthy, and so you have to, it's not just crossing your T's and dotting your I's. You have to have the support of the people to make laws in this country. To make real laws, you have to have the support of the people. And there's a process, there's a full process that you have to do. It's not just going to Congress and voting in the Senate and the House. Oh, no. It's not just that. It has more to do with the support of the people. And in order to get the support of the people, you have to go to the people for these laws. You understand that, right? So, when they making these laws, if you see how they're rushing to make these laws, and then the next thing you know, they come up with a law this month, and Congress go in and they pass the law just like that. Every time, just like that. It's not gonna work. Does not work. I don't care. Congress, you gotta understand, we have 3 branches of government, right? The 3 branches of government have no power. They have no power without who? The people. And in order for you to understand that, you have to understand the Declaration of Independence, which is what we celebrate today on the 4th of July, and you have to understand the Constitution of the United States. That Constitution, the Constitution is our laws, right? And in order to create new laws, there's a due process. Due process. You understand? This is why when DeSantis made that homeless law, they could never do anything. Do you know why? They don't have the backing of the people. Me, you, and everybody else. You got to have the backing of the people to make these laws. Right? So I'm not going to make this video too much longer, but let me explain to you what the backing of the people means. Right? So we all understand how a bill becomes a law, right? But within that bill, there are certain codes within the bill that has to be made to satisfy the Constitution, or in order to satisfy not just that law but other laws that surround it, right? Now we already have our immigrant laws. We already have laws surrounding immigration in this country. In order for there to be extra steps taken, you have to codify those steps within the law. Now, in order for you to codify those steps, you remember what I just told you about each state having its own constitution? Well, each state has its own constitution, along with each county and each city has its own charter or constitution. So the law has to be codified from the federal, really from the local governments up to the federal, not from the federal down. You understand? So laws don't go from the federal government down to the states. Laws come from the states up to the federal. So before these laws can be passed, each city, county, and state has to pass that law before it gets to the federal government. The federal government and even the state governments cannot pass the laws and make it trickle down to the lower governments. It does not work like that. That is not part of the due process of law. And the reason why that's not part of the due process of law is because the founding fathers of this country, the framers of the Constitution and the Declaration of Independence, were afraid of big government. Well, they was afraid of governments, period. So instead of them building a government, they didn't build a government. They built a system. In order for you to understand the system, you have to be taught that system at an early age. Right? You understand, right? So while everybody is running around talking about especially black people, they're going to deport black people. We're going to go back into slavery. No, we're not. No, we're not. Because they don't have the power to do that. The government does not have the power that you think they do. So, on this day that we celebrate our Independence Day, I'm going to tell you, me personally, I'm celebrating worry-free. I love the United States. Deuces.
Go quietly into the night. We will not vanish without a fight. We're going to live on. We're going to survive. Today, we celebrate our Independence Day.